Hi, my name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. Today we're taking a look at Quanta 2, and it's by Audio Damage, and you know what? It's pretty damn schmick. So you know what I'm going to say? Let's Oge. Quanta 2 is the successor to Quanta 0, I guess. The original Quanta came out many moons ago and was not AUV3 compatible, but it was highly regarded amongst many people who used iOS. Why? Because it's a granular synth, and it's a pretty damn good one. So Audio Damage have taken to the coding gods and created, well, part 2, Quanta 2, and it is AUV3 compatible, and that's a great thing. Of course, because AUV3 is the stock standard for everything these days. Now I must reiterate one more time, it is iPad only. And you can find it on the App Store for $9.99. Here we are in App Raven. To give you a little read here, Quanta 2 is the complete reworking and major upgrade of our fan favorite Quanta granular synthesizer. So absolutely standalone and AUV3. But not only that, it also is available on other devices like your Mac and your Windows devices. So, how cool is this for $197? Wow, that's a lot. But desktop prices are much more expensive. But you can get it in for Windows and for Mac, and it is as an AUV3 on your iOS devices. So all good. So it covers all of the spectrums. Hello to everybody in the chat. This is a live demo. Yes, live demos are a little bit different now. We'll say hello to you in a moment because first we want to give you a demo of how this thing works. Let's bounce over to AUM, hit play, and let you enjoy some music. Let's Oge. Awesome. So it's a pretty damn cool app, yeah? I'm not going to lie. Now I need to let you know that this app was not sent to me by a developer. I had to pay for this with my hard-earned money that you guys support me with here on the channel. Speaking of which, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share it out to people, get people on board. You can also become a Patreon to the channel, also as Thomas Christ has mentioned here in the live chat, or you become, so it's $1 a month, get your songs mastered. $5 a month will get you songs mastered and access to win some of the cool apps that we look at here on the program. You can also become a Wart Warrior member and support the channel for $1 a month, and it helps out. It all does. So, because sometimes developers don't answer my emails and I have to buy the app, and I wasn't going to miss out on this because it's a great app. Let's say hello to you all before we get into this live demo. This is the way demos are going to look now when they're live. So just so you know that. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Oge up here. Thomas Christ is in the house. Ed B. Metal. Ali's here. Nice to see you all. Hugh Caldwell, we can see you today, so it's all good. Who else do I see? Rise of Dark Leela. Let's get abreast to the situation with Rise of Dark Leela. Control, Jade. Joe Glenn is in the house. Ed B. Metals, rocking it out. Have I missed anyone? Brad Example's got a new track coming out. Heard it yesterday. Oh, yeah. It's looking really good. Could be multiple things coming out. Feisty Feather, hello to you. Have I missed anyone? The Falcro, what's going on, Falcro? Thank you, Heather, for already sharing. And if you're watching on the replay, folks, thanks. Welcome aboard. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this thing. Hello, we're here. Hello, Kim Harden Hudson. Now, I'll do some talking about some stuff at the end of this demo. We'll just get cut straight to the demo today because that's what they're about. So I'm just going to load up the right app here. Let's bounce over here. We are in AUM as per usual. This works on Logic and all this kind of stuff. It's already had a few updates as well too. So when it dropped, it had a few bugs, but they've been fixed. And so the developers are very quick. Audio Damage are super quick on fixing bugs with this. They have a Discord channel. So if you have the app, you've come across any bugs, join the Discord channel and drop your bugs there. Very, very fast way to get stuff done. So here it is. This is Quanta 2. As I said, it is a granular synth. We're going to connect my keyboard to it. Of course we're going to, because I want to play. Don't touch me. All right. So this is the interface. Now, the first thing you are going to want to do when you download this is come up here to this preset section, and I would do it in the standalone version, and you'll be offered the opportunity to download all of the presets. Yes, the presets do not come pre-installed with this app. You will need to download them. They are about 500 megabytes. Be patient, all right? It takes a little while to download them, but once you download them, you'll get a lovely list of presets here. Now, it doesn't look like a lot from this section, but it is a damn lot. Hello to Mix Club, who's in the chat as well. You've got artist series, creative series, keys, pads, rhythmic, and soundscapes. And when you click, you get a whole lot more options here. So you've got people like Heinbach in here, Red Sky Lullaby, Richard Devine. So you've got some fantastic people with wonderful presets. And when you click, you get a whole lot more. So trust me, there's a whole lot of wonderful presets in here for you to mess about with. You can see Heinbach's got some, you know, they're going to be cool if they're Heinbach stuff in here as well. You've got a creative series, keys, pads. So not all of them open up into extra files like that. So these are all pretty much ones here. Yeah, so these creative series will open up into a whole another section. And you've got soundscapes, so things like jazz guitar scape. If you want to get back to your default, click on user and click default, and you will come back to your default preset. You can save presets, delete presets, copy, paste presets, import presets via zip, so they can be zipped up and you can import them, export a single preset so you can share your presets with all your peeps, and that is the way it rocks. Hello, Norman Maslov. What's going on? Mazzy, what's happening? So here we are. This is the interface. Now, what's beautiful about this, not only do you get a whole bunch of wonderful sounds to play around with this, you can import your own samples in here and then mess about with them, right? So this is the default. Let's hit my keyboard if everything's connected right. We've got an overhead here. So clearly you can hear very, very beautiful granular sounds. If you don't know what granular synth is, so what it does is when you play a key, it runs these little grains. It runs along the sample, and it runs these little grains, and it repeats the grains, and it creates like this. You can hear them. They're like it repeats, and they're randomized. There's different lengths of grains that run along here, and they're normally represented by these dots here. You can kind of see them moving a little bit. We can change the length of these things as well and how many grains there are, but we're going to get into that shortly. Hello, Ed Zielinski. Good to see you. So first things first. We're going to sit on this default patch for a little bit. Just run across here. We've got a unison mode. You can change the number of voices. You have a global level up the top here. And across the top here, this is your waveform. So you can come over here, check your waveform. You have envelopes. You've got envelopes up the wazoo. Let me tell you that. You've got 4 FEG envelopes. You can click through them here. So you've got these 3 are all set to the same, but here's your first envelope, and you've got settings for these. We have modulation, and let me tell you, you can modulate anything to anywhere. This is the standard of so many wonderful synthesizers these days, that the option to modulate anything to anywhere. So it's really, really deep, and to modulate things, it's dead easy. All you need to do is double click on anything, and there you go. A little box pops up with a plus, and you can decide where you'd like. So you've got these 4 envelopes, you've got 2 LFOs, sample and hold, you've got velocity, aftertouch, pitch bend. A lot of options for modulating stuff, yeah? On the end, tab up here, we have our settings. So you've got an MPE input mode. If you're using an MPE keyboard controller, you can turn that on. We've got some pitch bend override, aftertouch smoothing, global tuning, some right settings. So some pretty standard stuff there. Let's come back to our waveform. We'll come back to envelopes and modulation shortly. Let's get into it. So here is the sample that is loaded in. This is the default sample. You can see here what it looks like. If you'd like to hear the sample, there's a little play button just here. So this is the original sound. Now at any time, you won't be able to hear this by itself. This is the only place you can hear this original sound. Because once it is loaded in, and you can load your own sounds in here as well, we have the option to control volumes down here. Now let's run through the little sections. Now it looks a little bit confusing. I know there's a whole lot of stuff, but let's break it up. You'll see some dividers between here. So these are your 2 oscillators. We've got oscillator 1, oscillator 2. These can run completely independent of each other. They have their own volumes. See, there's a level here. There's a level over here, so they have their own volumes. We have a noise oscillator, which creates some filthy noise. It has its own level as well. And we have our granular oscillator. So you can decide to run either these 3 oscillators by themselves, or you can run them through this granular oscillator. And the sample will always run through the granular oscillator. Just remember that. Now, I'm going to focus on this section here. If I can zoom in a little bit. There you go, get me out of the picture. So this little section here is your mixer for the granular oscillator. Now you can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got an oscillator 1, 2, noise, and sample. If I pull down the sample all the way down, hit my keyboard, there's barely any sound. You can kind of hear some sound there if you listen really close. Okay, now over here as well, let's come back to this screen. Here is our level for the sample. If I pull this down, there's nothing. There's no sound. I'm hitting the keys. There's absolutely 0 sound. Now, if I bring up the sample here in this mixer, there's still no sound when I hit a key. Absolutely no sound, because I need this level up. Let's turn it up. There we go. So now let's focus again on this little mixer here with the sample up. We're only hearing the sample, the original sample sound coming through the granular oscillator. Beautiful. So another thing I will point out, be careful. This volume can get a little bit crazy. The more grains and length you add to this granular oscillator, it's going to peak out. It's going to get louder. And you might want to have a limiter on here as well too. So just be mindful. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about this granular oscillator. These are the controls for it. I'm going to turn down all these grains and turn down the length here. Now if I play a note, you're only getting these cracks and pops. Because we have only one grain coming through here and only 1 in length. So let's turn these up a little bit and see what happens as we turn this up. So you can hear those grains. And now if we bring up the length a little bit, you're going to start hearing we can turn the length up a fair bit, which means those grains, the more grains that you have in there, they're going to take longer to play and longer to create more grains. You know what I'm saying? So let's add some more grainage. Bring the length down. So what I will mention with this thing is there seems to be this natural saturation that's in this that is just, oh, it's really bitey, and sometimes it really peaks out with some of these sounds, and just it's filth. It's real, and filth in a good way. No, not in the way that, you know, certain people want to ban on the internet. Anyway, so over here with our grains, we have these random volumes as well. So you can turn down the randomization of the length or turn it up. So you get some randomization in there with your grains. Which is beautiful. I'll give you a better look at the grains shortly, Falco, in the chat. So I'll come back to you and you'll see with some of the patches how the grains work with a visual representation. That'll help you a little bit more. You can tune this as well. So we've got a tune knob here. So that's a 2 octave down and a 2 octave up for tuning. Plus we have a fine tune here also, so we can fine tune down the bottom. Now normally I would say double tap to bring this back to the center, but if you double tap any of these, you are brought up with the modulation system. So you're going to see this a fair bit, this modulation system, because it is just wonderful. Now you can also randomize the tuning. And really start to create some crazy whale-esque, really bonkers stuff there. Plus, if we zoom in a little bit here, underneath this randomization is a quantizer. So we can turn this on and we can actually choose a scale. Turn it on and we can remove keys from this. So only if we go and come down here, we'll make this all major. So now when the randomization plays, it's only going to play it's only going to quantize to major notes, and you can come in and change this how you like. So very, very, you know, there's a lot of customization for these grains, for this granular oscillator. It's very, very deep. Plus we have an envelope over here. So you've got a whole bunch of envelopes, triangles, you know, your standard affair, ramps, everything. That really crazy distortion that comes in there. Yeah, so grains are, so basically, Richard, when you play a note, this is the sample that's being played. Every time I hit a key, it's playing this here. And what it does is it breaks up this sound here into many little sounds, and they all kind of move around amongst this along here. You'll see a visual representation of it soon. It breaks up the sample into tiny little samples and they all kind of move around each other. So it's what creates, instead of just this, creates, yeah? So that's the same sound we're playing, but because of these grains, it's moving around the sample, breaking out up into pieces, and creating like a sample that has movement, yeah? I guess that explains it. You can change the position of the grains. So see, these are the grains here. See these little line, this represents the grains. You can move them along the waveform. So I can put them here. So you can see every time I hit a key, these grains are being activated. You can see. And I can move this wherever I want in the sample. We can also change the grain direction, so we can have them going random, or we can move them forward. We can move them in reverse. We can move them played or minus played, so we've got a whole bunch of ways. Or we can change this to random, so it'll appear. So the grains now are being selected randomly along the waveform, right? Pretty damn neat stuff. Let's just bring this back. We'll put our position back at the start. So that we've just been so far just looking at the sample, right? So that is just the sample. If I zoom in again, there it is. That's the only thing that has volume up at the moment. Let's turn that down and let's focus on these two oscillators over here. So the oscillation here, so if you know, I'm sure, hopefully you know what an oscillator is by now. We can turn up the oscillator. So we've got the option with these oscillators to add some pulse width. We can change the shape of our oscillators. We can tune them. We've got tuning over here. We've got a fine tune and a level. So both oscillators have the same deal. So that's pretty much just a standard oscillator happening there. But where it gets fun is we've got it turned up here as an oscillator. We can now add this oscillator into the granular oscillator. So if we bring up oscillator 1 over here, now we're playing both. Just the oscillator and the oscillator going through the grains. So you can hear the added dimension it adds to it, or we can just turn down the volume of the oscillator over here. And now that sound, that oscillator is just going through the granular oscillator. Now remember, all of this has just come from that sound. It's bloody beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So let's turn down this. And we have a second oscillator here. We'll turn this one up. We can down tune this. And then we can turn up this first oscillator and get. So now I've got a sweet mix of this one. We can tune this all the way up if we want. Now again, these aren't even going through the granular yet. So let's bring these two through the granular as well and see where this takes us. So just remember, whatever you're putting through here, through this little mixer, it's all controlled by this master oscillator, right? So you can't like split the granular oscillator up into different kind of granular oscillations for each track here. They all are going through the same place once they're turned up. Let's pull these down. Pull the volumes down for our oscillators. Let's talk about our noise oscillator, which is here in the middle, and we'll turn this up. So here's our volume for that. So this is just creating some noise. We can change the color of the noise. And we can add this through the granular oscillator as well. Let's bring that up. Whoa. And then if we start to bring all three of these in now, let's do it. Let's bring in our original sample over here. We'll bring in both oscillators, 1 and 2, and we'll pull this noise down a little bit because it's a bit loud in the mix. Pull that down, pull the level down over here, and let's see. Pretty damn delicious. You'll notice across the top here, I mentioned we've got a waveform, envelopes, modulation, and settings across the top. Well, also down here, we have 3 little sections. So there's 2 filters over here, which can be modulated. This one's already modulated here. We've got some effects as well. So we've got a chorus, delay, and a reverb. They're all very lush sounding. Let's turn them all off so you can hear what's going on. In fact, we'll come back here and just, let's pull everything down in our mixer. Come on. Come back to our effects. And let's turn on our chorus. I think he's got it over here. Well done, Falcro. So we've got a chorus. You've got 2 modes of chorus as well. You've got the rate of your chorus. And you've got a mix and the chorus depth. Nice. So let's turn that off. We've got a reverb, of course. You've got to have a reverb. You can change the size of it. You've got a little color knob here to add some color to your reverb, the diffusion of your reverb, and of course the decay. And your overall mix. And we have a delay here as well. So this is a stereo delay. You can split left and right times. You can create different times if you want. Here's your feedback knob. You can sync to the BPM turned by these little notes. Wherever you see a little note anywhere, that normally means you can sync to the BPM of your project. So currently this is set to 2 different. So left is set to a quarter and this is set to an 1/8 dotted. We've got a width, a mix. So if you get headphones on, you should feel that bouncing back and forward with those lovely delays. Really, really neat stuff. It's a beautiful app. There's no doubt about it. Here are our filters. So I'm just doing this with my finger so you can see just... Right, so moving it this way is obviously changing the frequency of your filter, and the up and down is going to change the resonance. You've got the option of 4 poles, 2 poles, so that's your slope, frequency, resonance. You can come here and change how you like it to low to, you've got all your options of a typical filter. Let's put this back here. And yes, you can modulate these as well. So let's come over and show you how to modulate something like this. Here's our filter. I'm going to double tap. As you can see, here is our destination window that pops up. All you need to do is hit plus. Let's go to our LFO1. and turn it up. And you can see already this is starting to move. So that's how easy it is to add modulation. So now if I hold down a note, and then we can take it further by coming over here to our modulation up the top. Here's our modulation. This is number 1, yes. And we can change the frequency, the shape, the speed. We can slow it down. We can turn it off from bipolar. So if you don't know what that means, currently it's set to bipolar. So it's running all the way back and forward like this. You can see it down here. See how it's going woo, woo, woo. And modulating. If we turn this off, now you'll see it's only running one way, right? So instead of bi, it's now singular polar. Very easy to set up LFOs. You've got a warp here, so we can warp the shape of the LFO, and you have a shit ton of shapes as well. So, you know, you square all the way through. We can de-warp. We can go into the minus for our warps as well. Look at that. What does that remind you of right there? We can change the skew. We can change the phase. Oh, I wasn't going to say that, Semtex. I was going to say the McDonald's logo. But anyway, God, we know where your mind is. Unbelievable. Let's bring down the global level a little bit. So yeah, plenty of options. Plus, coming back over here to the filters, you can run these filters in parallel. You can run them in serial. You've got 2 of them to set up. Now, if you want to remove a filter, just come over here to this frequency, double tap, and just hit the minus. Boom. That's how easy it is to add and remove modulation. So as I said, you've got 2 sets of modulation. You've got FLFO1, FLFO2. You've got a sample and hold up here, and you have all these. So you've got pitch bend, mod wheel, aftertouch, CC74, and you've got some macros here as well too that you can set up. Yeah, so these are under CC 16, 17, 18, 19. So if you'd like to set these up for modulation as well, plenty of options. We are at our halfway point here in the show where every day on the live streams we run an ad. If you're watching on the replay, you'll be seeing an ad, or you may not be here. If you're live, you can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber or by just skipping the ad. The ad has been run, and let's talk about what's happening tomorrow on the show. Coming up is our good friend, Peter Johns. Let me get out of the shot. There it is. The Odd Couple Rant is happening tomorrow here at this very time. Normally, our friend Mike Enjo is the host of this, but he's unable to make it this week, so we have somebody just as bloody awesome. It's Pete Johns, and he's going to come and talk about keeping up appearances. Now, what the hell does that bloody well mean? I don't know. You're going to have to come along and find out what it's all about. Let's back over here to AUM and get on with this tutorial. So we've talked about oscillators, filters, effects, but what have we not talked about? That's right, envelopes. And we've got 4 envelopes over here as well. So you'll see when I play a note, what have I done with my volume? Let's come back over here. Oh, I think I've put our filter back. Waveform. So envelopes, and you've got 4 of them. Hello, Capsulam, and anyone. Mars Capone, good day to you. Sorry, I have missed you. I've seen you there in the chat. I'm trying to keep it snappy, guys, went for demos on the live streams because, you know, people get a bit upset that I talk too much, blah, blah, blah. So you've got 4 envelopes over here, or FEGs, yeah? We'll just call them bloody envelopes or what they're called. And you can modulate these as much as you like too. So what is actually happening here with these envelopes? Well, let me tell you. So when I play a note, you'll see the note takes off. The note takes off. It hits this section in here that is marked, and then it does a little bit of bouncing around, and then it leaves off here from the envelope. Let's watch it. And then I release. So again, I'm going to press down on the key. It sends the little ball off, hits the center, bounces back and forward, and then when I let go of the key, it finishes off its journey. So that is how you can get such beautiful sounds with these different envelopes. You can change the scale of this, so you can come in and add a point anywhere you like. So I can put a point in wherever I want and change this to a pad how I want. So it slowly builds up. And once it hits the middle, this section here, we can stretch this out. So now slowly, this is going to go in here until I let go. Now it's going to get to the end and leave. Let's bring this in tighter. But you can add points anywhere you like. Now, once it gets in the center here, watch what happens. We can decide the scale of what's going on in here by controlling this little scale knob over here. And that'll speed up. Watch now when it gets into the center. And we change this. Now it's moving a lot faster. We can change the level. We can change the mode, so we can have it go only forwards. We can have it go forwards and backwards. So now if I do this, it should come back. Is it coming back? Do I have it set right? We can sync. So now this is sunk to our door. We can reset it at any time we want. And you can virtually do anything you want. You've got 4 of these to play around with. It is really, really beautiful. Lots of customization. And again, you can come in here and change anything you like. So let's come back over here, double tap, add a modulation, and I can now add this. We can add this shape. We can add whatever we want. We can add the tuning. This has already got a modulation to it. Let's just delete these. Come in here. We'll add this to. And you can see now, watch this envelope and then watch down here. You can see it moves the same way as this does up here. So it's quick, right? So you can send your filters, you can send anything to your envelopes, anything to your modulation. You've got complete power. It is just that damn nice. It is really beautiful. Let's run through. So that's pretty much all you really need to do on how to operate the thing. It's, you know, it's a synthesizer. You're not going to get too messed up with it. We shouldn't do. There's a really fantastic manual available for it. I think it's on their website. Can you get it from here? So from the website, I think there's a manual as well. So this is just a bit of information. Now, remember what I said at the start of the show. When you first download this, you are going to have to download the presets. Let's talk about these presets because this will help our friend Falcro understand some things. Now, again, before we move on, I'm jumping ahead. Let's import a waveform because not only can you use the sounds that you get with it once you download all of the presets and you get a whole bunch of sounds, you can import your own. There's a little disk icon here. You can hit this and I've got a little folder open. Let's just grab this one shot and I can hear what this one shot sounds like by hitting the play button. So I can load whatever I want. Let's try this one shot. And what it will do is try to understand what note the one shot, what sample is that you're bringing in here. And you can see here, it's chosen C3. So it's actually worked out what it is just by listening to it. Now, not all the time it's going to be able to do that because you may import a sample that has already some granular stuff through it. It might be a little bit longer than just a single sound, but you can actually go into this little section here. I'll zoom in so you can see it and just drag up and down to choose what note you would like it to be. So let's come back here. And it's a little bit finicky, I'm not going to lie. Every time I let go using the mouse, it changes. So we're back to C3. So you can come in and change the root note of whatever sample you bring in, or listen to it again. If you want to delete a sample, there's an X here. Yoink, it is gone. No sample loaded. So we'll load up another one. We've got another C18. Let's hear what this is. But again, now when I play this note, we have this going through the oscillator. Wow, that's so cool what's come out of that. I'm going to turn on these effects. There we go. You're going to want to have your effects on to really get this. It's just a beautiful thing. So we've got a little bit of time left. Let's run through some presets, shall we? And see what you get. So we've got artists here. Let's start off with some Heimbach stuff. So now you should be able to see Velcro. When I hold down a note here you'll see these grains moving across. And this is where I can change the length of the grains. Add more. And what's happening here, you can see them moving across. So these are the actual grains here, but they're actually moving around because, double tap, we've got some modulation connected here. So this modulation is going to two LFOs, and you can see that by this moving here. Anyway, let's go through some sounds. And again, this has come from that is the original sample that is loaded in here. Hey, covered by CQ. So we're just looking at now, there was only, what, 2 folders of sounds in here? There's some really beautiful stuff in here. Let's bounce over to some pad sounds. Hey, Tremor Bear, I didn't see you there. Mateusz. Yeah, this has got you written all over it, Mateusz. So we've just changed the randomization of the tuning. Now you're getting David Lynch. Wow. Nice. Spooky voices. We've got some rhythmic stuff in here as well. So again, this is where these grains come in. So this is the original sound. Oh, there's no sample loaded. See what's going here? This is just using the noise to create a rhythm. So you can get pretty creative without even having any samples put in here. Right? Soundscapes. We've got mallets and drones, this one. So as you can see, a lot of really cool sounds in there. So let's make something, shall we? We've got about 10 minutes. So we'll take 5 minutes of those just to make something. Here's a blank canvas. We're going to add in a MIDI, an audio. Let's just do a scalar, because it's nice and easy. And we'll choose a random sound in here, see what we can make with it. So we'll load up our guns and bring your friends. Anyway. And we'll send scalar over here, an output over to Quanta. Let's click on this. We'll choose one of these pads, shall we? Or this soundscape. I kind of like this, what was it? This guitar. We'll choose some notes here in scalar. Let's just choose, I don't know, we'll find something ambient. Sweet. Let's play it. put that on a repeat. What's the scale? The scale is a D major scale, so that's fancy. Let's bring in some kicks with a hammerhead. Boom, 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 just a 4 on the floor. It's a bit fast. What were we? We've got a D major. We're going to send Melody Bud out to the second version of Quanta. Make sure it's in a D major. Let's create some, maybe some keys. Some grainy chords, maybe. What have we got in effects? There we go. It's pretty damn easy to make something with this thing. Beautiful, beautiful sounds, wonderful pads, wonderful noises, wonderful app indeed. It's $9.99 on the App Store. That is US price. There it is right there on App Raven. As I said, it's already had a few release notes here, so you can see we're up to version 2.1.2, so it's had some updates. It's getting some love. They're paying attention. If there's bugs or anything like that, I'm going to hit like up here and add it to my short list up here. Remember, if you want to grab it on the old style of making music, like a Mac or PC, you can get over here. It's a little bit more expensive than $9.99. Just add an extra $190 to it, and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So glad I use iOS. You know what I mean? Thomas Christ is up next, my folks, my friends. He is my folks, my friends. Hey, Jim Shannon. And he is going to be playing your most rockin' music live. Indeed he is. So I have a few demo shows coming up soon. Let me tell you what they are. One of them Two, I can tell you two of them. You'll be seeing those in the next day. One of them is this baby here. It is called Hornet. It is a compressor limiter. It's a wonderful little beast too. It has these auto trims and auto, and everything's auto. So you can put like a drum through it and it will listen. It'll use the algorithm and listen and try and find the best compressor and the best limiting for your sound, and it will try and understand your sound over time, and then you can turn these things off and then you can add a bit of makeup gain at the end. It's a pretty goddamn neat app. We'll be looking at that in one of a pre-recorded demos coming up. Plus, we'll also be taking a look at this thing too. This is the Thereminator. It's pretty damn cool. It is by Yonak. It's just dropped, so we'll be taking a look at the Thereminator. Number 2 this is, because the original version came out many moons ago. It was very, very popular, but this thing has just dropped it, and boy, does it have some presets. It's got presets up the wazoo, heaps of presets. It's like a theremin gone crazy. Plus, let me tell you, this is also what we're going to be doing here. So I've recently gone through some headphone stuff. Many of you may know these were my headphones of choice for the longest time. These are the Rode NT100s. When I first got these, unfortunately, they had a default in the little clip here and the headphone broke, and I sent these back to Rode, and they sent me a brand new pair because they acknowledged to all their customers that, yes, these headphones have got a defect. And they decided to do this, give everybody who bought these going forward a lifetime warranty. I've never seen another set of headphones that has a lifetime warranty. So moving on, they repaired my first set. They lasted a year with no problems. And then the little wire in here went about a month ago. And you know what? I remembered. Lifetime warranty. And these brand new headphones just got sent to me fully unopened. I haven't even opened these yet. Yep, they're fully sealed. So these came. So let me tell you, Rode, man, even though these things have got a little defect in them, lifetime warranty, I'm going to get these fixed every time they break for the rest of my life. So what I'm going to think about doing is doing a shootout on these. And these wonderful things I have that replace them, the Bayer Dynamics, these things have been amazing. And the Sennheisers. It's not really going to be a shootout. It's just going to be a talk about how I believe these three sets of headphones for your budget are going to be really solid choices. And I'll kind of give you my opinion on what I think's the best. But you know what? All our hearing is completely different. So what I say means absolutely fucking nothing. Buy what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together and, stay awake and all that stuff. Are you enjoying the content here on the channel? Please leave a comment down below. Do the like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Become a patron, become a member, help support the channel. I'm getting out of here for the day. You know what I'm going to say? Thomas Christ up next. Let's... Oh, ja.